YGK Ambercord. It says here made in Japan. This is 4.4 pound and 3.3 pound. Note that the 4.4 pound, it says the diameter is 0.15 millimeter, and the 3.3 pound, the diameter is 0.135. This is important for me when I buy line, and it's not always available. But here is how the line looks on the spool. This one looks kind of clear, but actually when you put it on the light, on the reel, it looks kind of white. It's not really clear and translucent. But I have actually used this line for 2 years now. I don't know how I never got to make a review on it, since I really like this line actually. But it has been a really long winter, so I'm finally catching up with all of my reviews. Please keep in mind during the entire review that I have only used the 4.4 pound and 3.3 pound of this line, nothing thinner. Because for everything thinner, I use the Varivas polyester lines. These two guys here, the orange and the clear. And mostly the clear. I only use the orange color for my Daiwa Presso and also the Daiwa Theory reels, because this color just looks like it was made for the Daiwa Presso reel. It just looks very nice. Not that I need the visibility, but yeah, for all thin diameters I use the Varivas polyester line. The only reason I even tried this line is because these Varivas lines only go to 2.3 pounds in breaking strength, and actually the breaking strength of this spool, if you test it on the table without the line being wet and without having a knot for your leader, even on the table, brand new and perfectly dry, breaks at around 2 pounds. So, if you need something thicker, you have to pick something else. And this is how I got these guys. Because I have these cooling lakes around me that have white bass, they have big hybrid bass, they have big drum, and every 100 casts or so, you're gonna catch a blue catfish as well. And those lakes don't even have crappie or perch or anything like that. So there is no point going with a 0.11 diameter 2 pound line on those lakes. You're just gonna lose some trophy fish from time to time. So I wanted to find something stronger, but I got so addicted to the fishing feel of this Varivas polyester that I just wanted to keep the same kind of sensitivity and the same kind of casting performance and just the feel during fishing. That's why I tried to find another polyester line that was just a little bit thicker and stronger, and this was pretty much the only thing that I found. I don't know why these polyester lines only go up to about 2.5 pounds, but if you want something stronger, you're gonna come across this, because I didn't see anything else in 4.4 pounds. The biggest fish I caught on this line was about a 5-pound hybrid bass, and I actually caught it on the 3.3 pound line. And the funny thing about that catch was that it was a double. I had a double jig rig, and first I had a white bass hit one of my jigs, and just a few seconds later something else just took off. It felt like a shark just came and ate my white bass and took off. And I know you're not gonna believe me, but I actually have a short video of this catch, so take a look at that. Uh-oh. 3-pound line. Uh-oh. He went pretty far. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Boys, you are the only ones who will see this video. Never gonna publish. Look here, what a double. That's a freaking pig, man. Столе, затварям телефона първото хвърляне. Това фанах. In terms of fishing, I have absolutely no complaints about this line. It has no stretch and it is very sensitive. Maybe it's not as sensitive as the Varivas polyester, but keep in mind that I have only used this line in 3 and 4 pound, and I have used the Varivas polyester in 2 pound diameters, and the diameter makes a big difference because thinner line has less water drag, and just because of that it will feel more sensitive. So keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that every testimony about sensitivity of fishing rods or fishing lines, every testimony, guys, will have high degree of bullshit. I don't care who is making it, it will always have high degree of bullshit. Just because it's so difficult, it's impossible to objectively measure sensitivity. So anybody can go on camera and say whatever they want about sensitivity, and there is nothing you can do to prove them wrong because there is no objective results that you can show. So yeah, I understand even my testimony on sensitivity will have high degree of bullshit. I promise you. It's just difficult to subtract your biases. You like a line, you think it's sensitive even though it might not be. But if you like it for whatever other reason, you're gonna have some biases to it. But for what it's worth, I do feel that again feel subjective term, but I do feel that this line is very sensitive. It is definitely, in my opinion, I reviewed 2 of these Daiwa polyesters, this one and another one. You can find it in my Daiwa polyester lines review playlist. But I definitely prefer this line over either of the Daiwa polyesters. The Daiwa polyesters, they're objectively very strong lines, as shown by this guy here. I'll show you later. But I just don't like them. They're not as sensitive, and I just don't like them. This line is also very easy to work with. Okay, maybe not as easy as monofilament, but look, I'm gonna remove the rubber band and there is no explosion, nothing happens. You get a couple of, coils out, but nothing really bad. The line kind of gets the shape of the spool after 1 or 2 days, and then, no major problems, nothing to complain about. Definitely nothing even close to working with the Varivas polyester. Varivas polyester, if I remove this rubber band, it will just explode and take my whole room here. This thing is, I haven't seen anything like it. It never takes the shape of the spool. You can use it for a month and then you just flip the bail and it still jumps on you. But this wine also, okay, maybe not the same as working with mono or fluorocarbon or any of those wines. It's still a little stiff, but definitely nothing to worry about. Casting with this wine is also good, but nothing spectacular. I think casting is like a reverse function of what I just explained to you. If the line is jumping out of the spool, it's difficult to manage, but it will cast very well. So casting, I would rate it the same as the Daiwa polyesters, and actually very similar to any other line you have used. Monofluorocarbon. It doesn't have anything special about casting. It's definitely not a monster in casting distance like this. There is no other line under the sun that will cast a 1/32 jig with just a trout magnet farther than this thing here. If you don't get some kind of a knot and you just lob it, it just goes. So yeah, good casting, but nothing special. The only area where you can talk about, disappointment about this line, and I don't really find it a disappointment, but some people might find it, is the breaking strength of the line, not relative to the diameter. The diameter is, keep in mind, only 0.15 millimeter, but relative to the label of the line. So this line is supposed to break at 4.4 pounds, but let's see where it breaks. Keep in mind this is in kilograms, so we're gonna have to convert it to pounds, okay? .65. This is what I get every time. Let's do one more test. .65. Okay, so if you do the math and convert this to pounds, it's about 3.63 pounds, and that's about 82 or 83% of what the label says. And that's kind of low. The Varivas is already low because it breaks at about 86% of what it's supposed to break. So this is even lower at 82, 83%. Actually, in that respect, the Daiwa lines, both of them are the best that I have seen. They break at about 90% of what the label says. Usually in America, lines break above what the label says. But these Japanese lines, they have some reasons. They actually break before what the label says. But don't let this distract you from the quality of this line, because at the end of the day, the label doesn't matter. What matters is that you have well, you cannot see here, but what matters is that you have 0.15 millimeter line that breaks at 3.65 pounds. 3.65 pounds is plenty. I can tell you that. The other thing I will personally testify is that this line, you saw the big hybrid bass I found. We actually caught several other. I was fishing with a buddy that day. We actually caught several other hybrid bass that were smaller. That's why we didn't publish this video, but we never caught another hybrid bass on that spot the rest of the year. So seems like it's safe to publish now. But I can tell you that this line has caught me many a good fish. White bass is already very wild, and I never had problem with white bass with this fish. I've caught a few small, 2-3 pound blue cats as well, nothing bigger than that. But in my perceptions, this line is actually more reliable in terms of breaking strength than the Varivas polyester, even though the label says it breaks at about 83%. Yeah, 83%, but 83% is already 3.6 pounds, 3.65. That is plenty strong for any kind of normal bass. You know, nothing obviously 30-40 pounds, but these bass up to 5 pounds, you know, you have some space to play them. You are not gonna have them. You're not gonna have any problem playing them with this line. I don't have any memory, honestly, guys. I don't have any memory of this line being unreliable and breaking sooner than what I expected. You know, when you get hung and you start pulling and you expect where it's gonna break. And the varivas, you know, from time to time it will break sooner than what you expect. It will break earlier. You hang this line, you get this line hung, it breaks kind of easy. With this line, I don't have any memory of it breaking easy. So don't let this distract you. I'm telling you, I really like this line. It is my second favorite after the varivas. It is very sensitive, casts okay. It is very easy to manage. The only problem really is it's not easy to find and the price can be all over the place. If you know a good place, a good source to purchase this line, you know, a good deal, please leave a comment below. I will give you a heart and I will pin your comment because I think it's a good line. It's just difficult to source. But either way, that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.